Alright, brush monkeys. This week we are wrapping up our series on the Raging Heroes, Daughters of the Crucible line with Sister Esperanza Espinoza. And here's her card, here's the figure. As you can see, she's quite a bit more elaborate than the rest of them. There's nothing on the card that actually says she's the leader of the Daughters of the Crucible, but she's clearly a little more elaborate than the rest of them. She's got this crown, she's got more elaborate armor, big flowing cape, all this kind of thing. So yeah, she's kind of the mother superior of the group. So that's how we're going to paint her. Make her look a little spiffy. Sorry, I got a little thing there. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and start painting her. So as usual, we'll start with the skin tones. I'm going with a fairly lighter skin tone on this one, starting with the Vallejo model color, tan earth, highlighting with cork brown and Iraqi sand. I'm probably going to use the Citadel Reichland flesh shade for that. The armor on the shoulder there, all her gold armor, I'm not really going to use the Balthazar gold on this one. I'm just going to start with the Vallejo Old Gold and shade wash it with Seraphim Sepia from Citadel, which will give that same kind of depth and definition to it. And then I'll dry brush it with a little of the Golden Griffin. You'll notice she's also got some, she's got these power cables hanging down from the forearm to the gun. I'm going to paint those red and green. So we've got a couple of new colors in here, a couple of the same old, a lot of the same old. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and get started on her. Alright, see you soon. Alright, brush monkeys, we're back, and I've got the skin and the reds and a little bit of white finished on her. As you can see, the skin tone came out really good. I shade washed the red with a little bit of Druki Violet. Give a nice deep red to that. I think her face is one of the better faces I've done. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. I was really digging how it came out with the shaded eye sockets and the lips and everything. She's one of the better faces I've done. You know how I feel about painting eyes, so I didn't do the eyes, but the eye sockets are shaded nicely. I really like that skin tone that came out on her. Really liking how she's coming out so far. Now you may have noticed I also did a little bit of the base. I wanted to get a layer down on the base band because it seems like by the time I get around to doing that at the end of the figure, the paint has thinned considerably from being on my wet palette and soaking up all that water, and so it just takes layer after layer after layer after layer to get it looking good. So I decided to go ahead and put a base layer down while the paint was still fairly thick, and then any cleanup I need to do, I could do by putting another layer on it later. I also did the concrete on the base because that's the only place that color comes into play, so I wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way. But yeah, she's looking pretty good so far. Really like how she's coming out. I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and I've got that shade wash and stuff. Still, the concrete's still wet. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and let that dry and go get some lunch. And then I'll come back and continue on with her. Alright, see you soon. Bye. Alright, I'm back. Excuse me. And as you can see, I've done the blacks. I layered the reds, so they're all nice and bright. I did the blacks, and I layered those with the Nightmare Blue, so there's a very subtle blue highlight to them, and they look really good. Also painted the conduits on the gun there, and based the guns and the leathers in Wraithbone for the contrast paints. So those are all good to go. And she's looking pretty good so far. I'm really liking how she's turning out. I'm going to go ahead and do the contrast paints on the leathers and the guns, and then I'm going to take a break and let those dry for a little bit. And when we come back, we'll see how those look, and then we'll proceed on to the metallics. So she's coming together pretty nicely. All right, see you soon. Bye. All right, I'm back, and I've got the guns painted. I've got the gun belts painted. Well, the leather looks really spiff. And I wasn't wild about how bright the conduits were on our gun, so I toned them down with a little bit of Nuln Oil. I think that gives them a nice dark look to them. So it's time to move on to the metallics. And like I said, with the metallics, I'm doing them a little bit different than I've done the other ones. I'm not using Balthazar Gold as a base and then highlighting with Vallejo Old Gold. This time I'm wanting them to be a little bit brighter, so I'm starting out with Vallejo Old Gold as the base. And then I'm going to shade wash them with Seraphim Sepia, just to bring out that detail, but not necessarily to darken the metallic look at all. And then finally I'm going to highlight with a dry brush of Golden Griffin. Her leg armor here is going to be done a little differently too. I'm still going to do the base with the Reaper Blackened Steel, but for the leg armor I'm going to use this. This is a homebrew concoction that I made of it's a combination of Citadel's Lead Belcher and just straight up black paint. So it comes out a very, very dark steel color, almost a metallic black. And so I'm going to use that on the leg armor and then highlight it with a light dry brush of Necron Compound. And then probably just a little dry brush of the Golden Griffin over the parts that are normally gold on there. So I think that's going to look really good. And then, like I said, her arm, she's got gold on her arms here. She's got a golden necklace, and she's got that crown. So I'm going to do all that, and then of course the base is still going to be done with the Blackened Steel and Balthazar Gold for the bronzes. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and get started on all that, and then we'll come back and see how they look. Alright, see you soon. Bye. Alright, Brush Monkeys, she is coming along really, really well. I got the golds all painted, got all the metallics painted. I got the gold shade washed. As you can see, that's bringing out all that detail in that gold armor and whatnot. Did up the base with the steel and bronze. Her boots are all nice and dark. And they've got the... I did the steel dry brush, and I did the Necron Compound dry brush, and I did the gold dry brush on there. It's a little bit light still. I may do another layer of the gold on the boots after a little bit. I did go ahead and decide, since she had all on the crown and this big necklace and the armor, that I was going to bling out her guns a little bit too. So I put a little bit of gold on the guns. You can see that. So they're all blinged out, and she's looking pretty good. I did just put the shade wash on the gold and the base. Did that Agrax Earthshade on the base. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. I'm going to take a break, and then when we come back, I will dry brush the gold armor and her necklace and her crown there. Touch up any little things that might be touched up. Maybe do another layer of gold on the leg armor there. Just to touch it up and detail it a little bit better here. And then probably put another layer on the base band before I do the Dragon Scale wax. And then she's getting pretty close to being done. So yeah, she's looking pretty spiff. See you soon. Bye. Alright, Brush Monkeys, and there is Sister Esperanza Espinoza, all finished. She's looking really good. You might notice I redid the armor on her legs. This would focus, because I thought she should be a little more blinged out on the leg armor, rather than just having a light dry brush of gold on there. And then here she is with the rest of the Raging Heroes Sisters of Battle squad that we painted over the last few weeks. And they all look really good. So I am pretty pleased with how these ladies turned out. I'm going to go ahead and put them with my Sisters of Battle that we painted last year. And next week we will, let's see, next week is the second birthday for Flying Monkey Studios, so join us for that. And after that, we'll start in on something else cool. See you then. Bye. Hey Brush Monkeys, Tom from Flying Monkey Studios here. If you like what you see, click like down below. If you want to be notified when new videos come out, click subscribe. Both of those help me with my YouTube numbers and help support me doing what I do best. Speaking of which, if you want to support me more directly, you can visit my Patreon site and go on my Instagram page to see all the miniatures that I paint on this site and how to get your hands on one of your own if you want one. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. You can check both of those to see when new videos get posted. And visit my merch store at storefrontier.com/flyingmonkeystudios. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.